Hello everybody, my name is Robert Hicks, and as of today of World Autism Awareness Day and World Autism Awareness Month, in this video, depends if you're watching this later on in your lifetime or not, but today in this video, I'm going to read you a story that can be very inspiring for you to work with or be with autistic people such as myself and others who have other developmental disorders and you don't have much experience with them. I'm going to read you the story called Ian's Walk, a story about autism by Laurie and illustrated by Karen Ritz. I hope you have some awareness for autistic people, such as myself and others in the world, as I read the story. But without further ado, let me not waste any more time and let's read this and let's get on with the story. It's a perfect day to go to the park and feed the ducks with my big sister, Tara. Except my brother wants to come along too. Ian, why don't you just stay here? I say. Ian doesn't answer me, though, because he has autism, but he wraps his fingers hard against the screen and begins to whine. Oh, all right, Ian, I say. Can he come? I ask Mom. Says Mom. You'll need to watch him closely the whole time. Are you sure you want to do that? It's okay with me, I answer, and Tara nods. You hold his hand, though, Julie, she tells me. Ian's brain doesn't work like other people's. Ian sees things differently. When we pass Nan's dinner, Ian steps inside to watch the ceiling fan move in slow circles. He doesn't look at the waitresses hurrying, but with all kinds of sandwiches and ice cream. Let's get a soda, I say, but Ian keeps his eyes on the fan until I pull him out the door. Ian hears things differently. When I see when a fire truck rushes by with its siren wailing and horn blaring, Ian hardly seems to notice, but he tilts his head sideways and seems to be listening to something I cannot hear. Hurry up, I say, tucking his arm. Ian smells things differently. At Mrs. Potter's flower stand, I hold a bouquet of sweet-smelling lilacs up to Ian's face. Ian wrinkles his nose and turns away. But when we go by the post office, Ian puts his nose against the warm, gritty bricks and sniffs at the wall. Stop that, I say. You look silly. I yank him away before anyone notices. Ian feels things differently. At the pond, I pick up a soft feather and tickle Ian under his chin. He shrieks and pushes it away. But while Tara and I toss cereal to the ducks, Ian lies on the ground with his cheek pressed against the hard stones. Get up, Ian, I say, taking his hand. Someone might step on you. Ian tastes things differently. When we go past the food booths, Ian won't even look at the pizza, hot dogs, or soft pretzels. But he reaches into my pocket for the bag of leftover cereal. Tara and I don't want to eat cereal for lunch. I tell him, come with us while we buy some pizza, but Ian won't budge. He munches the Power Pops one by one. Sometimes Ian makes me angry. I'll get pizza, says Tara. You stay here with Ian, Julie. I sit down on the bench to wait. Sit beside me, Ian, I say, but Ian flaps his hands and pays no attention. At last, Tara comes back carrying 2 slices of gooey pizza. "Where's Ian?" she asks. I look at the spot where Ian was standing, but Ian is gone. My stomach does a flip-flop for a moment. I can't move. Tara runs up to a lady. "Have you seen a little boy in a blue shirt?" she cries. The lady shakes her head. "Perhaps he's watching the baseball game across the park," she suggests. "But Ian doesn't like baseball." A man walks by with a little girl on his shoulders. "Have you seen a boy who looks lost?" I say with a lump in my throat. "No," says the man, "but we're on our way to hear the storyteller. Maybe he's there listening to stories." But Ian does not like stories. Tara rushes off to look for Ian. I squeeze my eyes shut and try to think like Ian. Ian likes the balloon stand where the big machine hisses and stretches balloons into colorful bopping shapes. He likes the water fountain where he can put his face up close and watch the stream of water gush past his eyes. Suddenly, the old bell in the center of the park begins to ring. Bong, bong, bong. And then I remember, Ian loves the bell best of all. I run full speed towards the bell, and there's Ian. He is lying under the bell, making the big gong move back and forth. I hug him tightly, even though he doesn't care for hugs. I see Tara near the swings, and I call to her. She rushes over, all out of breath, and puts her arms around us. "We'll walk home the way you like," I tell Ian. We stop at the pond and let Ian play with the stones. He lines them up in a straight row along the edge of the walkway. I stand in front of him so no one steps on his fingers. We walk right past Mrs. Potter's flower stand and stop at the post office instead. Ian sniffs all the bricks he wants, and I don't care who's watching. When Ian pauses at the corner and seems to be listening to something I cannot hear, we wait patiently and try to listen too. At Nan's diner, Ian and I watch the fan until I'm dizzy. When we finally get home, I say, "It was a good walk, Ian." And for just a flash, Ian looks at me and smiles. That's a very inspiring story, isn't it? And you know, for good examples of people who may be on the spectrum, they tend to have different personas and personalities as well. Sometimes there can be an autistic person who is an anti-conformist or may have different fears than everybody else. For example, there might be one person who says everybody else is afraid of arachnids or spiders, which is a pretty common fear, but he doesn't tend to be afraid of spiders at all. He just loves seeing the swarm of spiders and the spider colony beside his house just crawling all over the walls because it looks very satisfying to him. Or like, for example, in some of the pages where the boy Ian is looking at the fan spinning around at the ceiling, he tends to like that because the motion of the fan spins so fast it can sometimes be satisfying for people to see. And you know, sometimes the minimalist of things seems to impress other people as well. So, and another thing, if there's any other autistic person who happens to have an interest for pets, he or she may not like dogs or cats because they could be overrated to them. Instead, they can like either a chimpanzee or a reptile, such as a bearded dragon or chameleon. Those are the kind of and such as myself, besides dogs and cats or any mammals such as that. When it comes to animals, I'm a reptile lover personally. But that's enough for this video, I think. But before I go, there's one advice I should give to you. So whenever you meet a person who does things more differently than you do, try to cope with him and play along with him or her. If I'm not clear, you can put that in the comments. But if I am clear, that's good too. But anyways, happy World Autism Awareness Day and World Autism Awareness Month, people. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the story. It was very inspiring, and I'll see you soon.